My parents have a special talent for turning my pain into a punchline. If I cried, I was sensitive. If I got angry, I was dramatic. If I tried to explain calmly, I was overreacting. They didn't even say it like an insult anymore. They said it like a diagnosis. Like it was a fact everyone in the family had already accepted. The night this story started, I wasn't planning to expose anyone. I wasn't thinking about revenge. I was thinking about keeping the peace, because I was still stupid enough to believe peace was possible with people who only feel comfortable when you're silent. My name is Brielle. I was 31, living in Austin, and I had just worked a 12-hour day when my phone lit up with a message from my mom. Mom, family dinner this Sunday. Don't make it weird. I stared at the screen, exhausted, because don't make it weird always meant the same thing. Don't bring up anything real, don't mention what hurt you, don't react when we push your buttons, and if you do, we'll blame you for the fallout. I typed back. Me, I can come, but I'm leaving if anyone starts insulting me. That was my boundary. Simple. Clear. My mom replied instantly. Mom, see? Overreacting already. I didn't respond. 'Cause I knew what Sunday would be. It would be my dad joking about my job, my brother Mason rolling his eyes, my mom doing that fake laugh that says I'm embarrassed for you, and my aunt chiming in like she gets a vote. Then, when I finally snapped, they'd all look at each other like I was the problem, and the worst part is, it usually worked. Not because I believed them, but because after years of it, you start thinking maybe you really are too much. Maybe you should just take it. Maybe love is supposed to feel like swallowing glass, but that week something else was happening under the surface. I could feel it. My mom had been oddly cheerful on the phone, like she had a secret. My brother had texted me twice in one day, which never happened unless he wanted something. And my dad had sent me a thumbs-up emoji after I told him I might not stay long at dinner. A thumbs-up from my dad was never neutral. It meant, good, we're setting you up. On Sunday, I drove to my parents' house with my shoulders tight and my jaw clenched, rehearsing calm responses like a hostage negotiator. I parked behind my brother's truck and sat for a second with my hands on the wheel, breathing. My therapist had told me, if you walk into a lion's den, don't be surprised when there are lions. So I promised myself, I would leave the second it crossed the line. No speeches. No begging. No explaining. Just leave. The moment I walked in, I smelled my mom's roast chicken and that sweet candle she always lit when company came. Vanilla something meant to smell like warmth. The house looked perfect. Clean counters. Matching napkins. My mom's company voice already on. Brielle, she sang like we were a happy family in a commercial. She hugged me tightly, a little too tightly, and whispered in my ear, please behave. Behave. Like I was a toddler. I pulled back and gave her a small smile. Hi, Mom. In the dining room, my dad was pouring wine like he was hosting a fundraiser. Mason was already seated, scrolling his phone. My Aunt Denise was there too, unexpected. She lifted her eyebrows at me like, oh good, the entertainment arrived. Hey, my dad said, giving me a quick kiss on the cheek that smelled like aftershave. Look who finally made time for her family. There it was. First jab. I set my purse down and kept my voice neutral. Hi, Dad. Mason smirked. Don't start, he muttered, like I'd already done something wrong. We sat. Plates clinked. Everyone talked about safe things. The neighbor's new pool, my cousin's new boyfriend, some stupid story about a dog that ate a sock. I almost relaxed. Almost, then my mom poured more wine for my aunt and said casually, so, Brielle, how's that little job of yours? Little job. I worked in project management at a software company. It wasn't little. Paid my rent. Paid my therapy. Paid for the life I built without their help. But my mom said little like she was keeping me in my place. I smiled politely. It's going well, I said. My dad chuckled. Still playing office? He asked. All those meetings about meetings? Mason laughed like it was the funniest thing he'd ever heard. My Aunt Denise joined in. At least she's not waiting tables anymore, she said. Right, Brielle? Heat crept up my neck. I haven't waited tables in years, I said. I know, Denise said with a sweet smile. I just like reminding you where you started. My mom laughed too loud. Oh, don't be so sensitive, she said. We're teasing. You always take everything personally. I set my fork down carefully. In my head, I counted 1, 2, 3. Not because I was trying to be calm for them. 'Cause I was trying to be calm for me. I'm not taking it personally, I said. I'm just not interested in being mocked. My dad's face changed. Not angry, amused. Like he'd been waiting for this. Mocked, he repeated. Listen to her. She thinks we're mocking. Mason leaned back. Here we go, he said, dramatic. My mom sighed like I was exhausting her. Brielle, she said, you're overreacting. Nobody's attacking you. That phrase, nobody's attacking you, was how they erased the cuts while they were still bleeding. I looked at my plate and felt that familiar old pull. Don't make it a thing, just eat, just smile, just get through it. Then my mom added, we were actually talking about something important tonight. My heart tightened. Important. That was the word they used when they wanted my compliance to feel like a duty. What? I asked. My dad wiped his mouth with his napkin slow. Your mom and I have been thinking, he began, about the family group chat. My stomach dropped a little. The family group chat was my personal hell. A place where they shared photos and plans and inside jokes I wasn't included in, then acted shocked when I didn't show up. What about it? I asked. My mom smiled, sweet again. We're adding someone, she said. Someone who will help keep everyone connected. She looked at Mason. Mason grinned. My Aunt Denise sipped her wine like she already knew the punchline. Then my dad said, we're adding your ex. The room went silent for half a second. Then my mom laughed like it was cute. Just for the wedding updates, she said quickly, waving a hand. It's not a big deal. My throat went dry. My ex, I repeated. Evan, my mom shrugged. You dated him for 4 years, she said. He's basically family. I felt my face go hot. Evan wasn't basically family. Evan was the man who cheated on me, lied to me, and then told everyone I was unstable when I found out. Evan was the man my mom still liked because he complimented her cooking. Evan was the man who once texted my mother behind my back to ask if I was still dramatic. Why would you add him? I asked, voice low. My dad leaned back. Because you can't keep being weird about him, he said. It's been a year. Move on. Mason smirked. Mom says you still stalk his Instagram, he added. My Aunt Denise gasped theatrically. Oh my God, she said, do you? My mom made a sad face like she was the victim. See, she said to my dad. This is what I mean. Brielle gets upset and it ruins everything. I stared at them, my heart pounding. I'm upset because you want to put my ex in the family chat, I said. That's not overreacting. That's insane. My dad's eyebrows lifted. Insane, he repeated, offended. There she goes, my mom said softly. Overreacting. I pushed my chair back slightly. I'm leaving, I said, voice steady. If you add him, I'm out of the chat and I'm out of dinners like this. My mom's face hardened instantly. You can't threaten us, she snapped. My dad's voice turned cold. Sit down, he said. Mason laughed under his breath. She's doing her thing again, he muttered. My mom pointed at me like I was proving her point. See, she said. Disruptive. Dramatic. Always the victim. And in that moment, I realized something terrifying. This wasn't a spontaneous joke. They'd planned it. They'd been talking about me before I even walked in. And I was about to find out exactly how much. I didn't argue. I didn't negotiate. I stood up, picked up my purse, and walked toward the front hallway with my heartbeat pounding so hard I could feel it in my throat. Behind me, my mom's chair scraped. "Brielle," she snapped, "don't you walk away from me." My dad's voice followed, colder. "Sit down. You're embarrassing yourself." Embarrassing myself. Like the problem was my reaction, not their decision to invite my ex into my family space like it was cute. Mason laughed, low and mean. "She's going to cry in her car," he muttered. I stopped at the coat rack for half a second, hand on my jacket, and I looked back at them. Not to beg. Not to plead. Just to make the moment real. "If you add Evan," I said calm, "that's your choice. But you don't get access to me and access to him at the same time." My mom's eyes narrowed. "You're not the boss of this family," she hissed. My dad lifted his glass like he was toasting my downfall. "There it is," he said. "The control. The drama." "No," I said quietly. "This is me leaving." Then I walked out. The air outside felt sharp, like the world had teeth. I got into my car, locked the doors, and just sat there with my hands on the steering wheel. My body was shaking, not because I regretted leaving, but because every cell in me had been trained to believe leaving is dangerous. Leaving meant punishment. Leaving meant silent treatment. Leaving meant my mom calling relatives and rewriting the story until I sounded insane. My phone buzzed immediately. "Mom, don't be dramatic. Come back inside." I stared at it and didn't answer. Another buzz. "Dad, you owe your mother an apology." Then Mason, oh no, she's doing the victim thing again. I swallowed hard. My chest felt tight. I started the car and drove away before my nervous system could talk me into turning around. At a red light, my hands were still shaking, so I pulled into a gas station parking lot, turned the car off, and took slow breaths like my therapist taught me. In for 4. Hold for 4. Out for 6. I told myself, "You left. You're safe. You didn't scream. You didn't insult anyone. You enforced your boundary." Then my phone buzzed again. A notification from the family group chat. Not a message. A system notification. Evan Brooks added to Hayes family red heart. My vision went weird for a second, like my brain couldn't process how fast they'd done it. They hadn't even waited for me to get home. They added him while I was still in my car, shaking. Like they wanted me to see it happen. Like they wanted it to hurt. Then Evan's first message appeared. "Evan, hey everyone. Miss you guys. Hope you're all doing well." My stomach rolled. Mom replied immediately with hearts. "Mom, so happy you're here." Mason, "Welcome back, bro face with hers of Aunt Denise. Now this is how you keep a family together." I stared at the screen until my hands steadied. Then I did the thing they always said I never did. I made a clean choice. I left the group chat. No announcement. No speech. Just exit. The second I left, my phone lit up with calls. Mom. Dad. Unknown number. Mom again. I didn't answer. I let it all go to voicemail. Then Mason texted me privately. "Mason, you're so embarrassing. Evan didn't even do anything. You're overreacting." There it was again. The diagnosis. Overreacting. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, ready to defend myself, to explain why this mattered, to list every betrayal, every lie, every time Evan used my family to humiliate me. Then I stopped. 'Cause I knew what would happen if I explained. They'd pick at it, twist it, and end with the same conclusion. Brielle is too sensitive. Brielle ruins everything. So I replied with one line. Don't contact me about this again." Then I blocked him. I went inside my apartment, kicked my shoes off, and sat on the floor with my back against the couch because my legs felt weak. I stared at my quiet living room, the plants on the windowsill, the throw blanket I'd bought with my own money, the little life I'd built without their approval. And even though my chest hurt, I felt something else too, pride. I did not stay and swallow it. I did not let them rewrite my reality in real time. I left. About an hour later, my Aunt Denise sent me a message. Aunt Denise, honey, you're making this bigger than it is. Evan is just a nice guy and everyone likes him. You can't expect people to tiptoe around you forever. Tiptoe around you. Like basic loyalty is tiptoeing. I didn't reply. Then my mom sent a long paragraph from email because she realized she was blocked. Subject line, you're breaking my heart. Mom, I don't understand why you're acting like this. You were rude at dinner. You stormed out. You always do this. Evan has been nothing but respectful. We're a family. You cannot control who we include. You're overreacting and you need to grow up. Grow up. Like grown up means accept humiliation with a smile. I didn't reply to that either. I forwarded it to my therapist folder and left it unread in my inbox. I took a shower, trying to rinse off the feeling of their voices on my skin. I got into bed early. I put my phone face down. I told myself tomorrow will be gooder. Tomorrow you will feel better. But around 11:43 p.m. my phone buzzed again. A text from a number I didn't have saved. Unknown Brielle. Please don't do this. It was Evan. My chest tightened like someone had squeezed it. Unknown, your family invited me. I didn't ask for this. Unknown, you're making them upset. Unknown, can we talk like adults? Like adults. The same phrase my mom used right before she invalidated me. My hands went cold. I typed 2 words, then deleted them. I typed a sentence, then deleted it too. 'Cause even responding once would feed the loop. Evan wanted access. My family wanted control. They were using each other like tools to pin me down. I blocked the number. I turned my phone off completely and stared at the ceiling, heart racing, until exhaustion finally dragged me under. The next morning at 8:12 a.m., my phone turned back on and exploded with notifications. I blinked, disoriented, and saw a message from my cousin Talia. Talia was the quiet cousin. The one who stayed out of drama, who showed up with a polite smile, who never picked sides. Talia was texting me early, something had happened. Talia, are you okay? Me, yeah. Why? 3 dots. Then she sent an image. A screenshot. And the second I saw it, my stomach dropped through the floor. It was from a different group chat. Not the Hayes family Red Heart one. A second chat I didn't even know existed. The name at the top, family, no Brielle, and the messages underneath were from last week. From before Sunday dinner. Mason, she'll definitely freak out if we add Evan face with hers of joy. Mom, good. She needs to stop acting like the victim. Dad, let her leave. She always comes back. Aunt Denise, make sure someone records if she starts crying. I stared at the screenshot so long my eyes started burning. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't a joke. It was a plan. Planned humiliation. And my parents had said the quiet part out loud. Let her leave. She always comes back. That's what they believed about me. That's what they'd trained me to do. Talia's next text came in. Talia, there are more. Do you want them? My hand shook. My chest felt tight. But my voice in my head was calm, colder than I expected. Yes, I wanted them. Because for the first time I had proof of the thing they always denied, that my reactions weren't the problem. Cruelty was. And in part 3, the screenshots spread like wildfire, first to me, then to the people who always told me I was overreacting. And suddenly, my parents couldn't keep repeating that word without everyone hearing what it really meant. Gaslighting. I stared at the first screenshot until my fingers stopped shaking. Not because I was suddenly calm, but because my brain was trying to protect me by going numb. It's a weird feeling, your body is panicking, but your mind goes flat like it's switching into emergency mode. Talia's message sat there under the image. There are more. Do you want them? I swallowed hard and typed one word. Me, yes. A second later, another screenshot arrived. Same group name, family, no Brielle, and this one was worse because it wasn't just planning. It was them rehearsing how to frame it after. Mom, when she storms out, we stay calm. Dad, tell her she's overreacting. Mason, I'll say, here we go again. Aunt Denise, I can do the concerned voice. Like, honey, are you okay? Faced with tears of joy, I felt bow rise in my throat. Concerned voice. They literally joked about pretending to care while they pushed me until I snapped. That meant Sunday dinner wasn't a family meal. It was a performance they'd scripted with me as the villain and themselves as the reasonable people. And I was so tired of being the villain in a story I didn't write. Talia sent another. This one was from Friday night. Mason, add Evan on Sunday. She'll lose it. Dad, good. She needs to learn she can't control us. Mom, she thinks boundaries mean rules for everyone else. Aunt Denise, she'll make it about her like always. I felt my hands go cold. Not because it was shocking anymore. Because it confirmed something I'd been carrying for years. They didn't just dislike my boundaries. They hated the fact that I had them. Boundaries meant I was no longer programmable. I wrote to Talia carefully. Me, why are you sending this to me? A minute passed. Then she replied. Talia, because Mason sent one of the screenshots to the wrong chat. He meant to send it to No Brielle, but he sent it to Hayes Family Redheart instead. And everyone saw it. My breath caught. Hayes Family Redheart was the chat they just added Evan to. The one with my parents, my brother, my aunt, and a bunch of cousins. If Mason accidentally exposed the No Brielle chat inside the main chat, they couldn't deny it. They couldn't rewrite it. Not fast enough. Talia sent another screenshot, this time of the main family chat right after Mason's mistake. Mason had posted a screenshot of the No Brielle thread, and immediately someone replied, Cousin Jenna, what is this? Aunt Denise, delete that right now. Dad, Mason. Now. Mom, everyone calm down. It was chaos. My heart pounded. I wasn't even there, and I could feel the room turning. Then Talia sent the next image. Evan, wait, there's a group chat without Brielle? Jenna, why does it say No Brielle? Brooke, this is disgusting. Grandma, who made this chat? My chest tightened at the word grandma. 'Cause Grandma was the one person in our family who didn't play games like that. She didn't do passive-aggressive. She did direct. And when she got angry, people listened. Talia wrote, Talia, they're all fighting. The mom is saying you're too sensitive and that it's just a vent chat. I stared at the words vent chat and felt something in me sharpen. A vent chat is when you're frustrated and you need to blow off steam. A vent chat is not when you plan to humiliate someone, invite their cheating ex, and coordinate who will record them if they cry. That wasn't venting. That was targeting. Talia sent one more screenshot, and this one made my stomach flip. It was my mom. Mom, we made that chat because Brielle twists everything and makes herself the victim. We have to talk somewhere without her exploding. Like she wasn't exploding right now. Like the talk somewhere wasn't full of laughing emojis and strategy. Then my dad, stop being dramatic. Brielle always overreacts. Seeing my dad type it in real time, overreacts, while the proof sat above him was like watching someone lie to your face while holding the knife. My phone buzzed again. New message. From my mother's email. Subject line. Talia is turning you against us. I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I already knew the move. Blame the messenger, not the message. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I didn't answer. Another call. Then a voicemail. I listened once. It was my mom, voice shaky, urgent. Brielle, call me now, she said. This is getting out of control. People are misunderstanding. You need to fix this. Fix this. Like it was my job to clean up her cruelty because it was becoming inconvenient. I deleted the voicemail. My body started to shake again, not from fear this time, but from adrenaline. I wanted to text the family chat, to post the screenshots, to finally say everything I'd swallowed for years. But I didn't. Because I knew if I went in emotional, they'd still try to paint me as unstable. They'd say, see? Overreacting. So I did something colder. Smarter. I created a folder on my phone titled Evidence. I saved every screenshot with dates. I made duplicates. I emailed them to myself. I wrote a short timeline. Friday, plan to add Evan. Sunday, dinner. Sunday night, added Evan. Monday morning, accidental screenshot drop. Felt surreal. Like I was building a case against my own family. But then I realized they built the case for me. All I was doing was saving it. Around noon, Talia texted, Talia, Grandma is demanding everyone come over tonight. She's furious. Talia, Mom is panicking. She keeps saying you'll use this against her. Use this against her. The funniest part is my mom always accused me of being calculated, but she was the one who calculated everything. I just finally had receipts. And that's when my dad, my calm, rational, let's not do drama dad, sent me a message I'd never forget. Dad Brielle. This wasn't meant for you to see. We were venting. Don't blow up the family over this. Don't blow up the family. Not, I'm sorry. Not, we were wrong. Not, we hurt you. Just keep our secret. Keep our mask intact. I stared at the message and felt something settle inside me like a door locking. Because now I knew exactly what my role had been, not daughter. Damaged sponge. Person you can hurt, then blame for bleeding. I replied with one sentence. Me, you plan to humiliate me. That's not venting. Then I blocked him too. My hands were shaking as I did it, but my voice inside was calm. Enough. That afternoon, my cousin Jenna added me back to the family group chat. I didn't accept yet. Instead, I waited. 'Cause I wanted to see what they would do when they couldn't control the narrative. And in part 4, the family meeting happens. Grandma gathers everyone, Evan is still in the chat like a ticking bomb, and my mother tries to turn the screenshots into a joke until Grandma reads them out loud. I didn't accept the group chat invite right away. Not because I was scared. 'Cause I wanted to see who would move first when the mask was slipping. The next hour felt like watching a building catch fire from across the street. Notifications, missed calls, messages from cousins who never texted me unless it was Christmas. Jenna, please don't disappear. Brooke, I'm so sorry. Talia, Grandma is furious. And then, finally, an email from my mom that actually made me laugh out loud, not because it was funny, but because it was so predictable it was almost comforting. Subject line, this is a private family matter. Private. Like my humiliation was private until it embarrassed her. I didn't open it. 6:18 p.m., Jenna texted again. Jenna, Grandma says everyone needs to come over at 7. She said, bring your phones. My skin prickled. Bring your phones meant receipts. Grandma wasn't going to let anyone pretend they didn't see it. Grandma's house was 15 minutes from my apartment. I hadn't been there in months. I almost didn't go. Not because I didn't want truth. Because part of me still felt that old training. Don't escalate, don't make it worse, don't be the reason everyone's mad. Then I remembered Mason's message. Make sure someone records if she starts crying. I grabbed my keys. If they were willing to record my pain, I was done protecting their comfort. Grandma's living room smelled like lemon polish and coffee. The furniture was old but clean, the kind of house that always felt steady. When I walked in, people turned. Not in a warm way. In a tense, waiting way. Like the air was charged. My mom stood near the kitchen doorway with her arms crossed, face tight. My dad was on the couch, jaw clenched. Mason leaned against the wall, scrolling his phone like he was bored, but his foot kept tapping. Aunt Denise sat with her lips pressed together like she'd swallowed something bitter. And there, sitting awkwardly in an armchair like he'd been invited to the wrong party, was Evan. Evan looked up at me, eyes wide, trying to do that "I'm the reasonable one" expression. I felt my stomach twist. Course he was there. Course my family had dragged him in as a shield. Grandma sat in her recliner like a judge. She didn't stand. She didn't smile. She just pointed at a chair across from her. "Sit," she said. I sat. My heart was pounding, but I kept my face calm. Grandma's eyes swept the room. "All right," she said, voice steady. "I want everyone to understand something. I am not here for excuses. I am here for the truth." My mom's voice came out immediately, high and defensive. "Mom, this has been blown out of proportion," she said. It was a private chat. People vent. Grandma didn't even look at her. She looked at Mason. "You," she said, "made a group called Family, no Brielle?" "Why?" Mason's face flushed. He tried to laugh. "It was a joke," he said. "A dumb name. Everyone's being dramatic." Grandma's eyes narrowed. "A joke," she repeated. "Good. Then we can all laugh together." She held out her hand. "Phones," she said. "Now." My mom stiffened. "Mom, you don't need to—" "Phones," Grandma repeated louder. My dad finally reached into his pocket and handed his phone over like a kid caught cheating. Mason hesitated, then handed his. And Denise reluctantly passed hers. My mom held hers tighter. Grandma stared at her until my mom's hand shook, and she placed it in Grandma's palm like she was surrendering a weapon. Grandma opened Mason's phone first. Her eyes scanned. Then she looked up at him. "You wrote," she said slowly. "She'll definitely freak out if we add Evan." Mason's mouth opened. "Grandma, Grandma raised a finger. "Quiet," she said. Then she read the next line, voice clear enough that everyone heard every syllable. "Make sure someone records if she starts crying." The room went dead silent. Evan's face went pale. My mom inhaled sharply like she'd been slapped. Grandma looked up from the phone and her gaze landed on my mother. "So," Grandma said, "you planned to hurt her. Then you planned to film it." My mom's face tightened. "That's not what—" Grandma didn't stop. She kept reading. "When she storms out, we stay calm. Tell her she's overreacting." I can do the concerned voice. Grandma paused and looked around the room. "Do you all hear yourselves?" she asked. My dad's face went red. "Mom, you're making it sound worse than it is," he muttered. Grandma snapped her head toward him. "Worse than it is?" she repeated. Then she held up his phone. "You wrote," she said. "Let her leave. She always comes back." My dad's jaw tightened. He didn't deny it. Because he couldn't. My heart pounded, but I kept my hands still in my lap. My mom tried to pivot. "We were frustrated," she insisted. "Brielle is hard. She twists everything. She always makes herself the victim. We needed a space to talk." Grandma looked at her like she was seeing her for the first time. "A space to talk," Grandma repeated. Then she pointed at Evan with her chin. "And you added her cheating ex to the family chat to keep everyone connected?" Evan cleared his throat. "I didn't ask for her," Grandma cut him off. "You," she said, voice like steel, "shouldn't be in this house." Evan froze. My mom flinched. "Mom," she hissed. Grandma didn't care. "If you respected Brielle at all," Grandma continued, "you would have said no. You didn't. So you can leave." Evan looked at my dad like he wanted backup. My dad looked away. Evan stood slowly, embarrassed, and walked toward the door. My mom's face cracked. "This is humiliating," she whispered. Grandma turned back to my mom. "Good," she said. "It should be." My mom's eyes widened, shocked. Grandma continued. "You've been humiliating Brielle for years and calling it teasing. Now you got caught planning it in writing." Then Grandma looked at me. Her voice softened slightly. Brielle, she said, did you know about this chat? No, I said quietly. I found out yesterday. Grandma nodded once. And did they tell you you were overreacting? I felt my throat tighten. Yes, I said. Grandma exhaled slowly. Then let's be clear, she said, looking at everyone else. She's not overreacting. She is reacting to cruelty. Cruelty. The word hung in the air like smoke. My mom's eyes went wet. Not sad wet. Angry wet. So you're taking her side, she snapped at Grandma. Grandma stared at her. I'm taking truth's side, she said. And you have a problem with truth. My mom opened her mouth. Grandma raised a hand. Now, Grandma said, here's what happens next. You are going to apologize without excuses. And if you can't, then Brielle owes you nothing. My dad rubbed his face like he wanted to erase the moment. Mason stared at the floor. Aunt Denise's lips trembled. And my mom looked like she wanted to scream. Because for the first time, the family didn't have the option to call me dramatic and move on. The screenshots had dropped. The mask was off. And now they had to face what they'd written when they thought I'd never see it. For describing my family, silence was always the most dangerous sound. 'Cause silence meant they were calculating. It meant they were deciding which story to tell next. Grandma's living room was so quiet I could hear the refrigerator hum from the kitchen. My mom's eyes were wet, but her jaw was locked like she was biting down on rage. My dad rubbed his forehead like the situation was giving him a headache, like truth was an inconvenience. Mason kept his gaze on the carpet, pretending he wasn't the one who typed "record her if she cries." Aunt Denise sat stiff, lips pressed tight. Grandma looked at my mother and said, "Go on." My mom's voice came out soft, controlled. "Brielle," she began, "I'm sorry you feel hurt." I felt my stomach drop. Classic non-apology. Sorry you feel. Not sorry I did. Grandma didn't even let her finish. "No," Grandma said sharply. "Try again. You're not apologizing for her feelings. You're apologizing for your behavior." My mom blinked like she couldn't believe she was being corrected. "Fine," she snapped. Then she forced her voice back into sweet. "I'm sorry we made that chat. We were just frustrated because you're hard to talk to sometimes." There it was. Condition. The blame slip. The subtle but... Grandma leaned forward. "No, but," she said. My dad jumped in, voice low. "Mom, everyone's upset. Let's not do this like a trial." Grandma's eyes flashed to him. "You already did a trial," she said. "In that chat. You all rehearsed how to provoke her and then call her overreacting. That's a trial." My dad's mouth tightened. "We didn't rehearse," he muttered. Grandma lifted Mason's phone slightly. "You wrote it down," she said. My dad went quiet again. Mason finally spoke, defensive. Okay, he said, hands up like he was a victim. "It was dumb. I shouldn't have named it No Brielle. But she always gets weird about stuff and ruins the vibe." Vibe. He said vibe like my dignity was an inconvenience to his entertainment. Grandma stared at him. "You're 30, she said. "Stop talking like a teenager." Mason flushed red. Aunt Denise tried to salvage her own image. "I didn't mean it," she said quickly. "It was just a joke. You know how families are." Grandma's voice turned icy. "Families don't plan to record someone's tears," she said. Aunt Denise's face pinched. Then my dad tried his favorite move, minimize and redirect. "Brielle," he said, voice calmer, "we didn't think you'd see it. That's all. It wasn't meant to hurt you. It was private." I felt something in my chest harden. "So it's only wrong because I saw it?" I asked quietly. Dad blinked. "That's not." Because that's what you just said, I continued. My voice stayed calm, but it felt like steel. You didn't say it was wrong. You said it was private. My mom's eyes narrowed. Don't twist his words, she snapped. Grandma cut in again. She's not twisting, Grandma said. She's listening. My mom's cheeks flushed. She turned toward Grandma, furious. Mom, you're enabling her, she hissed. Grandma didn't flinch. I'm protecting her, Grandma replied. From you. That sentence hit the room like a slap. My mother sat back like she'd been physically pushed. Mason looked stunned. My dad looked embarrassed. Aunt Denise stared at her hands. My mom's voice rose sharp. I'm her mother, she said. I love her. Grandma nodded once. You can love someone and still treat them badly, she said. Love doesn't cancel harm. My mom's breathing turned fast. She tried to switch tactics again, sobbing. Brielle, she cried, voice cracking, why do you always do this? Why can't you just let things go? You're tearing the family apart. There it was. The blame transfer. If I name harm, I'm the destroyer. If I keep quiet, they're close. I looked at my mother and felt something strange. Not hatred, not even anger. Just clarity. Because this moment was the whole pattern in one room. They got caught. They minimized. They blamed. They demanded I absorb it so they could feel good again. Grandma looked at me, gentle but firm. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, she said. But I wanted to. I didn't want to rant. I didn't want to list a lifetime of incidents. I wanted one sentence that captured everything. So I looked at my parents, then at Mason, then at Aunt Denise, and I said it. You didn't just talk about me, I said calmly. You planned me. Silence. My mom blinked, confused. What does that even mean? She snapped. I didn't raise my voice. It means you rehearsed my humiliation, I said. You planned to poke me, then label my reaction. That's not family. That's a setup. My dad's face went pale. Mason swallowed. Aunt Denise's eyes widened. My mom's mouth opened, then closed because she couldn't spin that sentence easily. Grandma nodded slowly like she'd been waiting for me to name it. My mom tried one last weak pivot. We were just trying to make you move on, she said. Evan is. Don't say his name, I cut in, still calm. He's not the point. My mom stared at me, shocked that I'd interrupted. My dad tried to soothe. Brielle, please, he said. Let's not make permanent decisions over a few screenshots. I looked at him and felt the door inside me lock again. This isn't a few screenshots, I said. It's the first time I have proof. My mom's eyes flashed. Proof of what? She snapped. I answered quietly. Proof that you call me overreacting on purpose, I said. So you never have to take responsibility for what you do. My mother's face hardened. You always think you're right, she hissed. Grandma leaned forward and said, This time she is. My mom looked like she might explode. She stood abruptly. Fine, she snapped, grabbing her purse. If Brielle wants to be a victim, let her. I'm done. My dad stood too, torn between his mother and his wife. Mom, he began. Grandma didn't look at him. She looked at me. You, she said softly, don't chase them. I didn't. My mom stormed toward the door. Mason followed, muttering under his breath. Aunt Denise hesitated, then shuffled after them like she didn't want to be the last one blamed. Dad lingered, eyes pleading. Brielle, he said quietly, you know we love you. I stared at him. Then act like it when I'm not in the room, I said. He flinched like I'd hit him. Then he walked out too. The door shut. The room went quiet again, but this time it wasn't dangerous. It was clean. Grandma exhaled slowly, like she'd been holding her breath for years. Then she reached across the coffee table and took my hand. "I'm sorry," she said simply. Those two words, real, unconditional, made my eyes burn instantly. Talia sat in the corner, silent, watching me like she'd just seen a new version of me born. "What now?" I whispered. Grandma squeezed my hand once. "Now you decide," she said. "Not them." And part 6 is where they try to control the narrative again. My mom starts calling relatives, my dad sends a peace message, Mason posts something petty online, and I do the one thing they never expect. I post the screenshots myself with one calm caption that flips the story. I left Grandma's house around 9:40 p.m. The air outside felt cooler than it had earlier, like the night itself had cleaned something. My hands were still shaky, but my chest felt lighter. Not because the pain was gone, because the denial was. I drove home in silence, and for the first time in months, I didn't replay an argument in my head to see how I could have been better. I replayed one sentence instead. "You planned me." When I got home, I plugged my phone in and watched it wake up like a monster. Notifications stacking, messages popping, missed calls from numbers I didn't even recognize. My mom had moved fast. She always did when the story wasn't going her way. I opened my texts first. "Cousin Madison, what happened at Grandma's?" "Aunt Carla, call me ASAP. Your mom is crying." "Uncle Ray, you can't treat your parents like this." Then my dad. "Dad, Brielle, please don't do anything rash. Let's talk tomorrow and calm things down." Rash. Like I was the unstable one for having evidence. I didn't reply. Then my mom's email came in. Subject line: "You humiliated me in front of my own mother." I opened it only because I wanted to know what narrative she was building. "Mom, I can't believe you did that. You turned Grandma against me. You let Talia poison you. That chat was private. Families vent. You've always had a victim complex, and now you're using screenshots to destroy us. If you post anything publicly, don't bother calling yourself my daughter." There it was. The threat. Condition of love. Silence or exile. I stared at it until my eyes stopped burning. Then I forwarded it to my evidence folder and closed it. 5 minutes later, Talia texted, "Talia, Mom is calling everyone. She's telling them you screamed at her and attacked Evan." Me, I didn't even speak to Evan. "Talia, I know. She's rewriting it." My stomach tightened. Rewrite. That was the whole game. They hurt you, then rewrite you. They poke you, then label your reaction. They humiliate you, then call you dramatic. If there was ever a moment to stop letting them narrate me, it was now. My phone buzzed again. This time it was Jenna. "Jenna, Mason just posted something on Instagram." Jenna sent me a screenshot of Mason's story. A black screen with white text. "Some people live for drama. They ruin every family moment, then cry victim when they get called out." Under it, a laughing emoji. My hands went cold. I could feel my heart banging in my throat again. 'Cause this was the next step, public pressure. Make me look unstable so the family rallies around them. I sat on my couch and stared at the wall for a long time. Part of me wanted to disappear. Part of me wanted to scream. But the part of me that had been growing in therapy, the part that was tired of performing for my own dignity, said one thing: don't match their chaos. Post truth calmly. I opened my camera roll. I scrolled through the screenshots. I chose 3. Not the worst ones. Clearest ones. The ones that proved intent. 1. At Evan on Sunday. She'll lose it. 2. Tell her she's overreacting. 3. Make sure someone records if she starts crying. Crop them so group names and numbers were blurred, not because I was protecting them, but because I was protecting myself legally and ethically. Then I opened my notes app and wrote one caption. Just one. No rant. No insults. No paragraphs. One calm line that made the truth impossible to twist. Caption. Being called overreacting hits different when you find out they rehearsed it. I stared at the caption for a full minute, breathing. 'Cause I knew the second I posted, there was no going back to the old version of this family. But then I remembered my dad's message. This wasn't meant for you to see. That sentence made me angrier than anything. 'Cause it meant they were fine with harming me as long as the harm stayed hidden. So I posted. I put the screenshots on my story and pinned the caption. Then I set my phone down and waited. First 10 minutes were quiet. Then the flood started. DMs from friends, coworkers, people I hadn't spoken to in years. Friend, oh my God. Are you okay? Coworker, this is emotional abuse. I'm so sorry. Old classmate, I can't believe your own family did that. Then my cousin Brooke. Brooke, thank you for finally saying it. Mom does this to everyone. Cousin Madison. Madison, I thought you were dramatic. I'm ashamed. Jenna, Grandma just reposted it. My stomach dropped. Grandma reposted it. Grandma didn't do social media drama. Grandma did truth. If Grandma reposted it, it meant she was done protecting the lie. Then my mom called. Over and over. I didn't answer. My dad called. I didn't answer. Mason messaged me from a new account. Mason, delete that. You're crazy. You're literally proving our point. I read it and felt my pulse slow. Crazy. Proving our point. They were still trying to use the same script even while the proof of the script was on my story. That's when I realized they don't change because you explain. They change when their leverage stops working. Around midnight, my mom's sister, Aunt Carla, sent a message that surprised me. Aunt Carla, I saw your post. I'm sorry. Your mother has been doing this for years. I should have stopped it sooner. I stared at that line, stunned. Because I'd spent most of my life thinking I was alone in this reality. I wasn't. The next morning, my mom posted her own story. A photo of her crying with text. Heartbroken. When your child turns on you and the internet cheers. No mention of the screenshots. No denial. Just victim performance. And the comments under her post weren't what she expected. People wrote, "What did you say in those screenshots? Why would you add her ex? Recording her crying?" She couldn't answer without incriminating herself. So she did what she always did, she went silent. And in that silence, for the first time, my truth got to sit in the open air without being smothered. Part 7 is where the consequences land. Grandma sets boundaries of her own, cousins start confessing similar stories, my dad tries the peace meeting, and Mason finally realizes he can't bully me back into the role he liked. The next morning, my apartment felt unreal, like the world should have been louder after something that big, but it wasn't. The sun came through my blinds like always. My coffee machine made the same gurgling sound. Side a trash truck beeped in reverse. Normal life didn't care that my family's mask had cracked. But my phone did. My phone looked like a crisis. Notifications. Dim's missed calls. I stared at the screen and forced myself to do what therapy taught me, triage. I didn't read everything. I didn't chase every message. I picked the ones that mattered. The first was from Grandma. Grandma, come over. Just you. 2 p.m. No excuses. My stomach tightened. Not in fear, more like nerves before a hard conversation that you know is necessary. The second was from Dad. Dad, we need to meet. This is getting ugly. Your mother is distraught. Please stop posting. The third was from Mason, who apparently thought caps lock was an argument. Mason, you're ruining Mom's life. Delete it. It was almost funny how perfectly they fell into roles. Grandma, action. Dad, peace that protects Mom. Mason, intimidation. And my mom? My mom went silent online because silence was her way of punishing. She wanted me to feel the emptiness where her approval used to be. Except the emptiness wasn't scary anymore. It was quiet. I went to Grandma's at 2. Her house was the same lemon polish and coffee, but the energy was different. Calm. Firm. She opened the door and didn't do small talk. "Come in," she said. On the kitchen table were printed screenshots. Not just mine. More. Pages. Highlighted. My throat tightened. "Grandma," I started. She waved a hand. "Sit," she said. I sat. She poured coffee like this was a business meeting, not a family rupture. Then she looked at me, eyes clear. "You did the right thing," she said. I blinked because I wasn't used to adults saying that without conditions. "People are going to call you dramatic," she continued, "because truth embarrasses liars." Then she slid the stack of pages toward me. "Your Aunt Carla sent these," she said. She's had access to that chat for months. My stomach dropped. Months. Not days. Not a one-off. "They've been using it to talk about everyone," Grandma said. "Not just you." I flipped through the pages. My hand shook. There were messages about cousins, about spouses, about people's weight, money, divorces, fertility, parenting. The chat wasn't no Brielle. It was no accountability. Place where they could be cruel without consequences. Grandma tapped one line with her finger. "Read that," she said. I read it silently and felt my throat close. It was my mother. "Brielle needs to be humbled. She's getting too confident. Too confident." Like my self-respect was a problem to fix. Grandma watched my face and said quietly, "That's not love." I swallowed hard. "I know," I whispered. Grandma nodded. "Good," she said. "Because I'm done protecting it." Then she did something that shocked me more than her reposting my story. She pulled out her phone and showed me a message she'd sent to the family group chat that morning. "Grandma, in chat if anyone attacks Brielle for telling the truth, you're done with me too. No more holidays at my house. And no more pretending. Apologize without excuses or stay away." My chest tightened. "You said that?" I asked. Grandma looked at me like I was silly. "Of course," she said. "I raised your father. I know what he'll do. He'll call this drama until it's convenient again. I'm not letting him do it." My eyes burned. "Thank you," I whispered. Grandma waved it off like gratitude was unnecessary. "Now," she said, "your father wants a meeting." I exhaled slowly. "Yes," I said. "He does." Grandma leaned in. "Here's what you do," she said. "You don't meet alone. You don't meet in their house. You meet in public with someone who supports you and you keep it short." She paused. "And you don't apologize for exposing cruelty." I nodded. My phone buzzed on the table. It was Dad again. "Dad, Brielle. Please. Let's meet at 5. We can fix this." Fix. He still thought this was something we could smooth over like a stain. I texted him one line. "Me, public place. 30 minutes. No yelling." He replied almost instantly, "Dad, fine. Your mother will come too." My stomach tightened. I stared at the screen. Then I typed my boundary like a lock. "Me, no. If she comes, I leave." Dad didn't reply for a full 3 minutes. Then, "Dad, okay. Just me. 6 p.m. cafe on Lamar." That alone told me everything. He was willing to keep Mom away if it meant he could regain control of the narrative. 6. I went to the cafe with Jenna. Jenna wasn't just moral support, she was a witness. Dad arrived alone, shoulders tight, eyes tired. He sat, looked at me like I was a problem he needed solved, and opened with the line I expected. "This has gotten out of hand," he said. I didn't flinch. "It got out of hand when you planned to humiliate me," I said calmly. He sighed like I was exhausting him. "We didn't plan. Jenna cut in, quiet but firm. The screenshots literally say you planned it. Dad blinked, annoyed that a witness existed. He tried another angle. Your mother is devastated, he said. She's being attacked online. I sipped my coffee slowly. She didn't deny the screenshots, I said. She posted a crying selfie. Dad's jaw tightened. You don't understand, he said. Mothers are sensitive. She feels betrayed. Betrayed. Like betrayal happens when someone exposes wrongdoing, not when wrongdoing happens. I set my cup down. I was betrayed first, I said. You all chose my cheating ex over me. Then you mocked me for reacting. Dad leaned forward, voice lower. Brielle, he said, what do you want? There it was. The negotiation. Like this was a transaction. Like my pain could be priced. I answered calmly. I want accountability, I said. A real apology. And Evan removed from every family space. And no more group chats about me. Ever. Dad's eyes narrowed. That's extreme, he said. No, I replied. It's basic. He rubbed his face, frustrated. You're tearing the family apart, he muttered again. I didn't raise my voice. I said one sentence slow. The family was already torn, I said. You just liked it better when I pretended it wasn't. Dad stared at me for a long second. Then his shoulders dropped slightly. And for the first time, he said something that sounded almost like truth. Your mother doesn't know how to lose, he admitted quietly. My stomach clenched. I know, I said. Dad looked at Jenna, then back at me. If she apologizes, he said carefully, will you take it down? I smiled a little, but not kindly. No, I said. I'll stop posting. But I'm not erasing proof to protect her image. She can change her behavior. That's the only fix. Dad sat back like he'd hit a wall. Because he realized he couldn't bargain for my silence anymore. And that's when Mason's message hit my phone mid-conversation. Mason, Grandma just cut us off. Are you happy now? I looked at Dad and said softly, even now, you're all blaming me for consequences you earned. Dad's face tightened. He stood up too fast, chair scraping. I need to talk to your mother, he said. He left the cafe without finishing his drink. Jenna exhaled slowly. That went exactly how you said it would, she murmured. I nodded, heart pounding but steady. Because the real win wasn't getting him to agree. The real win was this: I didn't collapse. I didn't beg. I didn't apologize for existing. I enforced my boundary with witnesses and facts the same way courts do. When I got home, my phone buzzed. A message from Grandma, proud of you. Then another from Talia. Mason is freaking out. Mom is crying again. And then one from Aunt Carla. I'm choosing you. I stared at that last one for a long time. 'Cause that's what this had become. Not a family drama. A sorting. A separation between people who could face truth and people who needed lies to feel safe. Part 8 is where I choose the new normal. I set permanent rules, I stop attending family events that require my silence, I rebuild my circle, and my parents finally understand that overreacting doesn't work when the receipts are public. That night, after the cafe, I didn't feel victorious. I felt tired in my bones. Kind of tired you get when you've been holding a door shut for years and finally stop pushing, only to realize how heavy the door was. I went home, turned my phone face down, and sat on my couch staring at the plants on my windowsill like they were proof that I'd built something real. I kept hearing my dad's line, "This has gotten out of hand," like it was my fault the truth had hands at all. And then I heard my own line back, quieter but stronger. I'm not erasing proof to protect her image. That was the moment I chose my new normal. Not the one where we move on without accountability. The one where my peace doesn't depend on my silence. The next morning, I did something I'd never done before. I wrote rules. Not emotional wishes. Not, I hope you'll treat me better. Rules. I opened notes and typed 1. No contact about Evan. He is not family. 2. No group chats about me. If you need to discuss me, do it with me present. 3. No overreacting, dramatic, sensitive labels. If you say them, conversation ends. 4. Apologies must include what you did, why it was wrong, what you'll do differently. 5. If any boundary is violated, I leave. No debate. Then I copied those rules into an email. Subject line, my boundaries going forward. I sent it to my mom, dad, and Mason. No paragraphs. No therapy talk. Just the list. When I hit send, my hands shook, but it wasn't fear anymore. It was grief. 'Cause a small part of me still wished my family would read it and say, of course. We're sorry. We didn't realize. We'll do better. That's what people with empathy do. But my family wasn't built on empathy. It was built on hierarchy. And my list threatened the hierarchy. My dad replied first, an hour later. Dad, this is too much. You're being rigid. We're family. Rigid. Another label. Another way to make my self-respect sound like a personality flaw. I replied with one sentence. Me, rigid is how you build safety. Then I stopped. My mom didn't reply for 2 days. That silence was intentional. It was her punishment. Her way of making me chase. Because in our old system, I always chased. I chased with explanations, with apologies I didn't owe, with gifts, with showing up anyway. But this time I didn't chase. I let her sit in her own silence. And in that silence, something shocking happened. My nervous system calmed down even more. Because I wasn't waiting for her approval like a dog waiting for a treat. I was just living. On day 3, Mason messaged me from yet another account. Mason, congrats. You got attention. You happy now? I stared at it and felt nothing but clarity. This is what he lost, his favorite target. I blocked him without answering. Then my mom finally replied. Not an apology. A performance. Mom, I am heartbroken. After everything I've done for you, you would expose private family conversations and let people judge me. I never planned to hurt you. You are twisting it. I'm your mother and I will not be treated like a criminal. That last line made me laugh, bitter and small. Treated like a criminal. She wasn't being treated like a criminal. She was being treated like an adult whose actions had consequences. The same standard she'd always demanded from me. So I replied once and only once. Me, you still haven't said what you did was wrong. When you can do that, we can talk. Until then, please don't contact me. Then I muted her. Not blocked. Muted. 'Cause I was done living on her schedule. A week passed. Then 2. The internet moved on like it always does. My story disappeared from people's feeds. But something stayed changed in my family. Not because they became healthier. 'Cause the old tactics stopped working. They couldn't say, Brielle is overreacting without someone replying. Is this like that chat where you planned to record her crying? They couldn't pretend it was just teasing because Grandma had receipts. They couldn't invite Evan like a mascot because people now looked at him like what he was, a tool they used to hurt me. Grandma kept her word. She canceled Sunday dinner. She told my dad, you can see me when you learn what accountability is. That sentence spread through the family like a new language. Cousins started calling me privately. Brooke admitted she'd been in similar chats. Jenna told me my mom had mocked her postpartum body. Aunt Carla confessed she'd been afraid of my mom for years. She's always punished anyone who challenges her, Carla said. You just challenged her publicly. And slowly I realized my story wasn't just mine. I was just the first one who got proof by accident. The months after were quieter than I thought they'd be. Some days I missed them, the idea of them. The fantasy of a family that laughs with you, not at you. But whenever that longing rose, I opened the screenshots again. Not to stay angry, to stay grounded. 'Cause nostalgia is dangerous when it erases harm. One afternoon, about 6 weeks later, my dad showed up at my apartment building. Not at my door, downstairs in the lobby, coincidentally, like he thought he could bypass my rules by looking sad. The front desk called me. "There's a man here asking for you," the receptionist said. "He says he's your father." My stomach tightened. Old reflex, go fix it. New reflex, protect yourself. I said calmly, "Please tell him I'm not available. He can email." I hung up and sat there shaking, not because I was weak, but because I was strong in a way my family never rewarded. Later, Dad emailed, "Dad, I just wanted to see you." Me, I asked for email only. Please respect that. He didn't reply. And that was the answer. They wanted access without accountability. They wanted closeness without change. They wanted my presence in photos without my voice in reality. But here's the truth I learned the hard way. The people who benefit from you being overreacting will always try to keep you in that role. Because if you're dramatic, they don't have to be responsible. The screenshots didn't ruin my family. They revealed it. And I didn't post them because I wanted revenge. I posted them because I wanted freedom from the lie. Because being gaslit for years makes you doubt your own eyes. Receipts stop the doubt. Now, when someone tries to label me sensitive, dramatic, too much, I don't argue. I just ask one question. Do you want me quiet or do you want me okay? And if their answer is quiet, they don't get access to my life. My parents said I was overreacting. Then the group chat screenshots dropped. And for the first time, the word overreacting stopped sounding like a verdict and started sounding like a confession.